And so we're, living in a townhouse, so we're 2020. Again, everything's going good. We're still paying everything on time. Then I remember August 2020, that's when everything really completely changed financially. It's like God thrusted us into this process that we had no idea what we were getting into.
So now here we are, summer of 2021, and I'm pregnant with our third child, Soraya. And I'm hit with another major attack, just like I was hit with the year prior when I was pregnant with our daughter, Alethea. And now with this attack, it's actually much worse than the attack I was under when I was pregnant with Alethea. This one, again, hit me spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically. But the magnitude of this attack was much heavier than the last one that I was under. This one was, it was similar in certain ways. Some stuff that was going on, I couldn't get up and walk. I couldn't bathe myself. There were migraines around the clock. The pain that I was even in was unbearable. And it lasted about, I would say, about 3 months. I was confined to my room. I couldn't even come out and do anything. I was confined to my room, to my bed. Yeah,
it was definitely the worst one yet. Physically, and again, you're still dealing with the suicidal thoughts, depression, and heaviness, and now this physical attack with another pregnancy. But it was way worse. Literally, like I said, it brought me to my knees. It was so many things going on. It was like, Lord, what is happening?
Yeah, and two, again, yeah, like you said, it's like, Lord, what is happening? And that's when, two, he showed, this is not just about you, Donna. This is not just about the baby you're carrying in the womb. It's much bigger than this. That's why it is so heavy on you, because this is not just about the region you're in. This is about regions. This is not just about you carrying Soraya in your womb. This is about you carrying nations in your womb. So the enemy was after me for that, as well as the attacks that they're doing in this region and in other regions. I'm intercepting it, so I'm feeling the attack of all of that. I'm feeling the magnitude of it all.
Yeah, because now you're messing up, interfering with Satan's plans, all across the globe, and God is using you as an interceptor, so to speak, to stop some of this stuff, or to interfere with what they were trying to do. And we didn't understand all of what's going on, because it was like, Lord, almost every year was like, Lord, what is this? Who are we? Like, we always go back to that. Who are we? We're like, what did you call us to? Like, what is this? And remember during that time, it was like we constantly seeking God for answers, looking for answers.
Yeah, because everything that we were implementing at that time, nothing was working. Nothing was lifting the pain. Nothing was helping me to be able to get up and walk. Nothing was working. So we heard God say, come up higher. You're not going to find what you're seeking for in a book and on a teaching, nothing, because what I'm going to reveal to you guys is new, so you have to seek me. So we sought him. He gave fresh revelation. We implemented all that. And another thing, when I was going under that attack, it felt like death. It literally felt like death was breathing on me, was just heavy on me every single day. Yeah. And to the point too, I was asking God, just take me. Like, I can't handle any more of this. When I thought that I had gone through pretty crazy things, this trumped all of that.
Yeah, and again, all that we knew, the knowledge, the revelation, like, it felt like nothing was working, nothing was effective, because again, God was like, okay, this is something new you've tapped into. We didn't realize what we actually came into, but right. It was next level.
And even too, that prophecy that you got during that time.
Right. So they had a prophecy, so God did give a word in the midst of that. He showed us a lot, but I remember this particular one. It was it's August 22nd, 2021. So you're right, in the heat of everything that was going on. So I'll read some of that prophecy. It says, "You've broken through some of their gates, but you must take possession of their gates. They're fighting you because you breached their gates, but you must come up higher to fully possess the gates of these enemies. This is not just local, but global. You and Donna are high on their radar, and they see you as a threat to breaching major gates Satan has control over. These are gates he and principalities highly guard and watch over. You and Don have entered into some uncharted territory. You've tapped into some hidden territory in the spirit that you aren't even aware of yet, but they are. This requires you to come up higher. I could step in and take it all away, all my daughter is feeling, and I want to, but my will is that you come higher because I already have healed her and protected her from all this. But you must come higher and get these keys that will not only unlock her healing, but healing of nations. And then reading down a little further, he says, this is a gate to new levels of my power and glory poured out on the earth like never before. The adversary has fought many who gave up and turned around because the attack was too hard. But you and Donna will break through. You won't miss it. You won't quit even though it's the hardest fight yet. This breakthrough will be the breakthrough of your lifetime. It will literally set you up for the rest of your time on earth. Remember, the cherub angels is who I had guard to enter to the Garden of Eden when Adam and Eve sinned, so they could not enter back in. Satan is a fallen cherub who is trying to guard gates to mysteries revealed in earth. There are areas he has full 24/7 watch on to try to keep my church out of. Very few have broken through and gotten through these gates. But not only will you and Donna access it, but you will possess it. It does sadden me to see my daughter suffer, but this is not unto death. She will rise in 3 days, and the pain will lessen each day as you, my son, take heed to my instructions. And then I read a little bit more. He says, you have gone deeper into my glory, hence you have by default gone deeper into enemy territory that they highly guard. I would have had to step in and take my daughter Donna out of this myself, but it would have also taken you down some levels in my glory, and also by default, you would have lost some major territory. So yeah, so during that time again, God definitely gave more insight, more understanding. It was definitely not easy, very difficult. There's not words to describe how difficult that period of time was. But thank the Lord, he got us through it. He gave us insight, revelation. So going back to August 2020, that was the first month that we were late on rent since we were living in Georgia and actually renting. So now we were late August 2020, and pretty much we were late every month up to current day 2023 on rent. So things totally changed financially. So being late, and even down to the point we were threatened with eviction on more than one occasion. But you know, I remember always telling the property manager, hey, we'll have it by then, we're not worried about it. And so this time, January 2023, they actually went through to file an actual eviction for real this time. And so now we're served the papers in January 2023, and after we served the papers,
well, too, we weren't scared. Like there was never a time when they threatened eviction, and even when they went ahead and filed for eviction, we were never scared, because too, God showed us, well, because again we're following God's leading in all of this. It's not like we're doing anything outside of his plan, outside of his will. We're doing everything he told us to. So we knew all this was just a spiritual attack that was showing itself in the natural. So we knew, okay, this is not about just them trying to evict us from the house. This is so much bigger than that. This is about the enemy trying to evict us from the region. It was not just, oh, we're trying to evict you from the house. And two, God sent us to this house. God sent us to this region, so we knew all of heaven was backing us. We knew we were going to be fine. We knew, I mean, really all it was just the enemy throwing a temper tantrum. So it didn't rock us. It didn't move us.
Not at all. We were unmoved, the whole way unmoved.
And then we were talking one night.
This was this was literally what, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, a week or two ago.
A couple weeks ago. We're current day now, so a couple weeks ago
Decoy and I were talking, and God just out of the blue brought up this investment piece that we had. And it was out of both of our minds. I wasn't thinking about it. Decoy wasn't thinking about it. But we were having a talk, and God just brought up to me, that investment that you have, I want you to cash in on it. And that's what you're going to use to pay your rent.
Right. And it was like, wait a minute. It's like, because, we're thinking investment, so we already had this set aside, and it's out of my mind, because investment is that, and that's something long term. And then God told you that night.
Right, we're thinking, we're not going to touch this. But yeah, that night it was, I want you to cash this in. You're going to use it to pay the rent. So we cashed it in. And
remember, at this point in time, we had some late fees and all these other things that were accruing. And so we owed around $20-something thousand at this point. It was around $20-something thousand. And but we was able to cash in on the investment and even negotiate down some of the late fees and stuff like that. So we only had to pay $15,000. So babe, it is real. Look at what the Lord has done. And you got that word the other night, and Amy tried to cause all those distractions. But that investment that we had that I forgot about, and it was just amount, and look at this, 2,000, 4,000, 6,000, 8,000, 10,000, 12,000, 14,000, 16,000, 17,000, 18,000, and this is about almost 900. So almost 19,000 right there. Look at what the Lord has done.
And two, with that, we were able to pay not only past due, but we were able to pay ahead of time. So we even paid March with that, and still had some left over.
Right. So we thank the Lord.
But again, just trusting God in the situation and believing He's going to show us what to do, and He did. He reminded us of something we forgot we even had.
Yeah, and even going to, knowing we had already gotten the court date and everything, it was like, okay, well, Lord, this means something. We know you're doing something. So I was looking forward to the court date. Like, okay, what is God going to do on that day, before that day? And so, but of course, with everything being taken care of, the court case was dismissed.
Because we knew this wasn't a natural thing. It was so much of a spiritual battle. So it didn't shake us because, again, we were following His leading in it all.
And we done been through so much by that point in time. Hey, we know God's voice. We know He's leading us in this.
Yep, we know He has our back.
And remember, in February 22, so still during that time, rent being late, behind, all these different things, February 2022, God told us to give our car away. So we give our car away, and we weren't like freaking out about it. We were excited to be obedient to, because we know He's not trying to take something from us. He's trying to get something to us. So we gladly gave it away. Literally, it was the same day, It was the same day.
The same day He told you that we need to give our car away, and who to give it away to is the same day we gave it away. And two, we were excited because we knew there was something on the other side of this. Now, did we know it was going to be a year later and we still didn't have a car? No, but in all this, we're still trusting Him, and we know that He's got something going on.
Right, because now it's literally February 2023, a year removed from that, and we still don't have a car. But like you said, we know that God is up to something in our lives, and even in reference to that. So we've been excited about that.
Yeah. So to wrap up this 8-part series, this story time that we've been doing, to give you better understanding on why we've been under these crazy attacks for the past 7 years, because it was much bigger than me. It was much bigger than Decoy. It was because it was a fight over regions. It was a fight over territories. We were interceding concerning nations. We were interceding concerning other territories. And then on top of that, it was the interception that I was doing to stop the works of the enemy, to stop their attacks. So all of that, and the enemy was attacking us in all of this to attack the marriage, to break it down, to attack the finances, to attack my body spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically. And it was all trying to the enemy was trying to cause death to the marriage. The enemy was trying to cause death to the finances, to my body. And
they were trying to do all of that, and with you intercepting some of their works, right? It caused even more attention on us, because they're like, wait a minute, they're getting in the way of what we're trying to do. So it brought even more attention on us, and so that's how the increase of attacks happened. But again, us still not understanding all God has thrust us into, right? So we're learning as we're going, literally. So but He brought us through this far, and it was by faith. So we're grateful to Him for that, and also in understanding the process, right? In the process, this 7-year process, God thrust us into this. Even when we first got married, the process began. Like, God just gave us more insight and understanding on all of this. Like, I thought the process began, a couple years ago or whatnot, but it began when we got married. And God's taking us through a process, gutting us through things, stretching us, open our eyes to things, and the enemy trying to interfere with the process, trying to stop us from getting what God's releasing, all these things like that. So it's God pushing us into one direction, the enemy trying to pull us in another direction, and it's a clashing of two kingdoms, right? And we were right there in the middle of it, but He got us through.
Right. And to show you guys again how God is into every detail, we moved to Georgia March 17, 2018. Here we are. God just told us recently, you guys are going to move out of the townhouse March 17th, 2023. So that is 5 years later.
To the date. And God's saying, I remember that this was a transition house. So that he's giving us this official move date and bringing all this process together into summary in one nutshell. Is also prophetically significant because he thrust us into a process, another phase of the process when he brought us into Georgia, and now moving out of this
house of transition.
Now that shows us, at which he showed that we've, that process
has completed, has come to an end. So now he's like, I'm shutting the door on all of that, and I'm gonna thrust you into this. So that's where we're at today, and we're excited. We're looking forward to what's on the other side of this.
Yeah, and it's faith, I say all the time, we trust God in everything, over everything.
Right.
No matter what.
Just like our move to Georgia, faith move. Our move from the apartment to this townhouse, faith move. So now here's the third faith move. He hasn't given us much details, but we know step by step, be obedient in this one, then he'll give us the next one.
Looking forward to the surprises.
So as this comes to an end, a close, this door closed, we're moving on to the next thing. We're excited to bring you guys along to see what this next side is gonna look like.
Yeah.
That's it. That's good. If you guys are enjoying our journey, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
And be sure to hit that bell notification so you can see every time a new video is posted.